What's up, you guys? Welcome back. All right, I was recording and then this alarm was so loud outside and it kept going that I just had to stop the reading because I lost my train of thought. But I have all the cards here, so I'm just going to show you guys what I've got and then we'll talk about it. I pulled, this one flung itself out of the deck, St. Bridget. I'll tell you what's on the card. With the Hanged Man, then we're getting, we got three major arcana cards to start, and I'm just going to show you. The Hanged Man and the Tower were upright, and then the Judgment card was the last one, and this one was reversed. So we're going to start out with the Hanged Man and the St. Bridget. Underneath the deck was, once again, I'm getting the same cards over and over again in my reading, so it's kind of funny, but King of Cups is there hiding underneath the deck, and under him is the Nine of Cups upright. And these are both upright, which I like. I like to see these two cards together upright because it's just like this emotionally intelligent and mature and sort of psychically attuned element. It could be a person, it could be an aspect of yourself that's coming into bloom, you know what I mean? And also the Nine of Cups is about feeling fulfilled, self-fulfilled, like not necessarily about other people, but about you really feeling emotionally fulfilled. Yeah, just noticing that Eight of Pentacles reversed. We'll see what comes through in these readings. I do think there's something here about really needing to focus on what it is that you actually want, but being clear about your motivation. So we'll just start out with these two cards. So Hanged Man, as I said, is coming in the upright. And then we've got St. Bridget, Our Lady of Exalted Light. And it says, I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. And it's coming, like I said, this one was the only one reversed, but see how she has a lantern? It's kind of similar to the Hermit in the Tarot. So with this card reversed and then the Hanged Man, it very much feels like there's a spiritual insight that you've been receiving through this, like, you might be in a period where things have felt a little bit suspended. See how he's suspended on the tree upside down, but there's this like halo around his head? It's because he's getting spiritual insight in this position that he's in right now. Because the card that follows the Hanged Man in the Tarot is the Death card. So it's like, as you have this realization, something will start to transform. Because the Death card isn't just literal death. It's like transformation, deep transformation, Scorpio energy. We're in Scorpio season. So this feels like you're learning a lesson around specifically giving and receiving. And it says, I give endlessly because the light is without end. But if it's in the reverse, you might be giving endlessly, but you feel depleted. Or, again, the motivation and intention that you do things with is the way that you end up receiving it later. So let's say you're like doing someone a favor, in between quotes. But in that favor, you want something very specific back from the other person. You don't necessarily say that. It's like this unspoken thing that you're feeling. It's like this mixed motive, this kind of hidden agenda. And then maybe you get something from the other person, but you don't get exactly what you want. And then maybe you start to get pissed off and resentful because you're like, well, I did this favor for you. And you were expecting something specific back. But it's like, be more clear about your intentions when you're doing things. Because guess what? Later on, you experience a ripening of that karma. And it's like, you get a favor, again, between air quotes, favor from someone, but they also do it with mixed motivation. It's like they do it and they want something, or they're being a little bit opportunistic, or they're being a little bit sketchy or selfish or something like that. It's like you want to start to really dive a little deeper. But of course, if we're in scarcity, if we feel like there's not enough to go around, then it isn't easy. It's a practice to give more graciously, like more selflessly, without expecting something back, because that's going to feel unfamiliar. You're going to be like, well, I have to like hoard the things that I do get because there's not enough. And, it's just like, it's easier to give when your cup is full, and it's easier to be compassionate when you feel like you're taking care of yourself first. If you give endlessly to other people and you don't give to yourself, well, then start where you're at. It's like practice where you're at. It will feel easier later to be more generous when you're taking care of your needs. But if you tend to like self-abandon or put your needs on the back burner for other people, and now maybe you've experienced a series of events, or maybe in the same situation, like you're receiving, but it's coming with like a lot of suffering, then this is really something to be aware of. So I feel like some people out there, you're learning this lesson. And this isn't an easy one to learn, but it's an important one. Again, you get what you give, but you want to be aware how you're giving. Because whatever you're getting back is going to come with the same type of energy, no matter how dark it is. You know, it's the laws of karma. So that's the first section here. And then we're getting Green Tara, the Buddha of enlightened action. My soul informs my every step. I do what my heart compels me to do. And it's coming with a tower, which definitely feels like a disruption. It feels like a big change. It is led by your heart. And again, this might be the first time you're doing something like this in this particular way. Because I feel like a pattern is being broken around doing things from like fear and again, scarcity and obligation and not actually listening to your heart. And of course, if that's the case, then you're definitely suffering because you're ignoring your needs. But I do like that under the deck is this King of Cups, kind of like with the Nine of Cups, just feeling like, maybe it is my turn. Maybe it is my turn to feel good. My turn to like get what I want. My turn to like put myself first. And if that's you, congratulations, you know? Again, this could be somebody else. It's water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Doesn't have to be. But that is what it represents in the you know, suite of kings. Or it could be, like I said, an aspect of you. Just coming into maturity. Because the king is the final, it's like the highest of the court cards. And so this would be like the culmination of a lesson around your emotions specifically. And your intuition, like listening to your intuition too. So yeah, that coming with the tower definitely feels like there's about to be, because it's in the upright, if this hasn't happened yet, you guys already know. The holidays just bring up so much for people. It can bring up a lot of tension. It can bring up pressure. It can bring the shit to the surface really fast. A lot of people try and fake it through the holidays. If there's a lot of tension beforehand, you know, the pot starts to stir about right now. Because in America, you know, we've got holiday at the end of the month, and then we've got, you know, whatever, Christmas / whatever, you know, holidays at the end of the year, New Year's. So sometimes this is when the pot starts to boil, and if things last through the holidays, a lot of times the shit hits the fan right afterwards. So don't be shocked. I don't know. It's just like maybe there's like some type of preemptive step that you could even take to not let it get so dramatic, but I don't know. I just feel like this time of year, that's why I did a sale on readings, because I wanted to actually connect with people before the holiday stuff starts, because I feel like it helps people feel a little bit more prepared. And also, like as we're moving towards the new year, it's like that new chapter, void energy. It's up here in the northern hemisphere, it's the dead of winter. So I don't know, it's just like a good time to check in, I feel like. So that's kind of what I'm getting here. It's like your heart is compelling you to take enlightened action. Again, enlightened, we're getting the light, the lantern, even though it's reversed. And then the enlightened, like the light around his head, the halo, the spiritual realization is what's helping you take this next step. So this just, it feels really positive actually. And then we're getting Khadijah, the mother of believers. And it says, I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. And it's coming with judgment in the reverse. So I would say that the only sort of a challenge right now, this could be what this tower moment is all about. It could be, like I said, a change in your finances, a change with work, a change in your home life, a change in a relationship. It could be the ending of something. It could be the, you know, sudden shift in something. That's what it feels like. And I think it has to do probably with your security. That's what I feel. And so I love that this card is coming up upright, the Oracle card, because I'm feeling like maybe this lesson is finally landing for you, that like ultimately your world is a reflection of how you feel. And I talked about this in my last reading, specifically about this, because I was saying a lot of spiritual people really struggle with the earthly realm. They struggle with money. You know, they might be super psychic and in tune and they can tap into energies and do all that, but they can't pay their bills. Or they don't know how to manifest. You know, they don't know how to like bring that energy down, descending power. If all their upper chakras are activated, like their crown chakra, their third eye, you know, that's fine, but what are you doing with it, you know? Because a lot of those people they're not grounded, you know? They're kind of like, la, 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 like floaty. but we live in earth, so we do have to be grounded, you know. And some people are so attached to the material realm, in their lower chakras they might be very open and active, and the higher chakras are kind of blocked. So they might be really good with money, but they're not spiritually attuned at all, or they're very like skeptical, or they don't believe in that, or they're super logical and don't listen to their heart, and don't really, like, they're not self-aware or emotionally aware. So you're here to find the middle way. You know, you're here to like bridge the gap between these two things. And there is also like old conditioning around, because judgment card is a spiritual card as well. There's a lot of judgment sometimes in spiritual circles about money. Like, it's just heavily loaded, cultural, societal, that maybe money is the root of all evil, or money is bad, or making a lot of money makes you a shitty person, or none of this is true per se, but like these are things that we hear. So you might be carrying a whole lot, we all do, like even I've had a lot of stuff to move through that I wasn't aware of initially, because I do a spiritual job full time. This is my full-time gig, you know, mentoring and doing this work, and so I've had to overcome a lot of this, and some things are still in progress, you know what I mean? But ultimately, this is important to start to master both realms, to be able to like be in touch with the spiritual realm, but also bring that energy down as much as you're able to bring it up. You know, like a lot of like Kundalini and other types of like Tantric practices are about rising your Kundalini, bringing it up to your crown chakra, opening up your crown. That's fine, but if you don't bring it back down, you can feel very ungrounded, uncentered, even anxious. So we've got to be the bridge between, you know, the upper and lower realm. It says heaven and earth on the card, but if you don't like the word heaven, or that doesn't resonate, just think of it as like universal energy, or the spiritual realm, and the earthly realm. But there's some resistance to this. So I just want to actually clarify this little section with another tarot card. So Judgment reverse is like you've been feeling this, maybe you've been hearing a call to make a change here, because it is an angel like blowing this trumpet, calling these people who are naked, you know, they're like ready to be reborn. This is kind of like a resurrection card. Like sometimes in certain tarot decks it says that word on this card. Because right after this is the end of the major arcana. It's the world, it's the end of a cycle. So you're really close to the end of a cycle. So let's clarify. A lot of sirens tonight. Let's see. I literally live like across like 2 streets away from a fire station, so that's why you guys hear so many sirens. Yeah, see how you're at a choice point here? That's why it's showing up as like a bit of resistance or a reversal. You need to make a choice. Now, remember, this is mental energy, air energy when it's swords. And the middle card section with the tower is saying it's time to do what your heart compels you to do. So this is the thing. I feel like you're very used to doing what's logical. You're used to doing what your analytical mind tells you is right, or what looks good on paper. You're probably not used to following your heart. And if you have done that in the past, maybe it didn't work out so well. Maybe it was more impulsive. It was a little bit immature. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we're following our heart, but it might not be grounded in something true. You might just be wanting a quick fix or a little dopamine hit or whatever. But this is something deeper. This is like a big change that's been wanting to happen. That's part of your spiritual path. It's part of your spiritual growth. So let's get one more there. Oh, wow. The beginning of the cycle. So do you know what I mean? We've got the Judgment card here. The World card would come next. And then the Fool upright is really good, because this is like the leap of faith that you're going to have to take to enter the new chapter. It's the beginning. He's traveling super light. He's literally got a stick with a little baggie on the end with his socks and undies in there. He's got a white rose, which is very like, it's like the purity of something new, the innocence of the beginning of a cycle before anything has really happened yet. And he's got his little dog there, and he's just like, see how he's not even looking down? He's just like walking in faith to the edge of this cliff. That's what it's gonna take, this change, this leap of faith. So, you know, I don't recommend to everyone to just go jump off the cliff. Do you know what I'm saying? But you do reach certain points. Like I had a client today, and one of the cards that we pulled was Crossroads of Destiny. And I do feel that a lot of people are at a pivotal point where you actually do need to listen to your heart for once, and you do need to strengthen your like spiritual practice so that you're building that muscle of faith. there's no way out but through, you know, and I've had these choices. This doesn't happen all the time. Remember, you got 4 major arcana cards here. That's a lot for a short reading, a small reading. So this is a big life cycle. This is the beginning, really, truly, of a new life for you. It's like, no matter how old you are, you're starting, I feel you're about to start over. And it's going to be better. It's going to be more spiritually aligned, more emotionally fulfilling. Like I said, maybe you've always done what's practical, what's going to pay the bills. Like I said, what other people approve of or what other people wanted from you. But in those circumstances, you weren't happy. And it's like, fuck it. It's time for me to be happy too. So that's what I'm getting here. Now, I will say with that King of Cups upright, we got the creativity card reversed. Yemoja, the goddess of all that flows, and it says, I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. Again, water energy with 2 water cards. This is water energy as well. As I said, the King of Cups is a very creative, intuitive, emotional lover man or lover woman, whatever. I mean, it's a man on the card. So this is just that like masculine essence, you know? But the feminine creative energy is reversed. So if this is you or within somebody else, it feels like there's stuff that you're meant to birth. Like, it doesn't mean a person. It means like creativity, like projects, a new experience, a new chapter of your life, maybe a new relationship, a new career path. I don't know. Something new. Or you could be a very creative person, but you haven't really tapped into that side of yourself because you've been so busy, again, trying to like do what's practical, not listening to your heart. So I'm feeling like you've got a lot of potential that just hasn't even been explored yet. It doesn't feel like a bad thing. It feels like, under there even is the Teresa of Avila, which is the one about your interior world, excuse me. I trust the answers I find within me. I know the presence of love is real. Our Lady of the Interior Life. As you go within, like I said, strengthen your spiritual practice. If you're a woman, like I'm opening Rose Temple up again and a level 2 to that, Magdalene Mysteries, at the same time, because we'll do it for a year. It's coming back and the waitlist will be ready next week. So like if you're, and it will be accessible, you know what I mean, for that Rose Temple first level. It'll be a little bit of an investment, but nothing crazy, you know, because I want people to be able to participate and come in, but you will have to be devoted, you know, for a year. It takes time. You can't rush your awakening and you can't rush building your practice. Like it's just something you have to keep coming back again and again. And the feminine pathway, your feminine essence, your feminine energy, whether you're a man or a woman, like that aspect of ourselves is the side of us that can't be pushed and forced. It's like a flower. You have to just create the conditions for it to blossom, water, the right lighting. So that's a metaphor. You know, for you, you just need to create the conditions for your creativity to flow, for your emotions to unfurl. Do you know what I'm saying? It's that type of pathway. And this is not like culturally what we're taught to do. We're really taught that hustling is everything and that slowing down is dangerous or that's you're going to be broke, etc. If you hear those big honking affirming it for us. I'm just going to get one of these for each. Okay, we're getting be a body, as I was just saying. This is the piece that most of us miss. We're living from the neck up. We're like intellectualizing everything, but I created Rose Temple because it's like your body is the temple and you have to come home to yourself and nurture your feminine energy. And that's not something that we're taught to do. We're like, that's shunned, you know? So be a body. It says you didn't, and this is the part where it's like the suspension has been happening and even giving endlessly because the light is without end, but maybe you've been feeling a little bit dim inside. You haven't been feeling energized. So it says, you didn't know your brain is your body and your body is your brain. To process your emotions, whether it's longing or heartbreak, you must get present in your body. That means finding your center of gravity, trusting your breath to nourish you, and feeling all of the sensations. And then it says to research somatic centering practices. In fact, part of Rose Temple are somatic practices because I trained with a girl named Desi. Sensual Somatic is her handle. So basically, it's just saying by feeling and interrogating your physical sensations, you can understand both the depth of your social conditioning and your well of potential to reshape this conditioning in the name of pleasure. It's really just a big call to get connected back with your body, to come drop out of your head and drop down. Most people are very disconnected, disembodied. They're not even aware of it, you know, numb, etc. Okay, the second card we're getting, interestingly, in the reverse is beautiful time, and this is like interesting because it's coming with doing what your heart compels you to do and a big change tower moment. It says our lives will be as mundane, alienating, and distraction filled as we allow. Time is an oppressive force when dictated by the few over the many in a bid for money and dominance. You know what I mean? And it says, it's talking about mental prison that you place yourself in, kind of doing the mundane, numbed out, not inspired things. Like to waste all of your time in that and to ignore your heart completely, like what's going on there. So it says, well, we need to spend a large amount of time perhaps doing things we don't want to do. It's our perspective on them that's a personal choice. As is the way we spend our time both inside and outside of those mandatory spaces. In whichever and whatever way you can, take your beautiful time back. And that's what I feel is happening. It's like, I deserve to be happy. What about me? I've spent my whole life doing everything for everyone else, and everyone else is smiling. Why am I exhausted? Why am I depleted? Why am I frustrated and resentful? Like, it's time to do you, but to do you, you're going to have to like switch things up and put yourself first. And as I said, that can be very disruptive to the bubble that you might be living in, where other people are very happy whilst you're not. When you start to change the power dynamic and you start to put your needs first and make boundaries with people, it can be like the shit can hit the fan. It does happen. I see it all the time. Family dynamics, romantic relationships, like whatever. So just to be aware. But it's time to take your time back in whatever way you can. Of course, we've all got responsibilities. We've all got obligations. But this is saying, yeah, that's true. And so what are you doing with the rest of your time? If you fill the rest of it with distractions and bullshit and stuff that makes you miserable, well, then that's your choice. You know? And then lastly, we're getting transform and transcend. A snake sheds its skin as its growth demands. As it expands, it has no choice but to discard those limiting parts of itself and emerge soft and fresh. Humans are the same. Ideally, we're always growing. As such, there are moments in our life where we've got to shed the old way to make way for something new. Yeah. Ritualize this moment so you can let go once and for all. That's the thing. That's what we're getting here with the I provide heaven and earth for myself. You know, if you've been clinging to a job situation, a relationship situation, something that you've been feeling is like the key to your security, but you're just really unhappy and your heart and your intuition has been telling you for a while, like, you know what, this ain't it. This is not it. This is the choice that you're pondering. But again, you've got to let something go for something new to begin. It says, this kind of transformation can feel like death. What did I say here? That's the card right after Hanged Man, the death card. Again, Scorpio season. We're in peak Scorpio right now. It says, there are goodbyes, tears, mourning, resistance, struggle, and eventually transcendence. Shedding the skin of, especially of old relationship stories and ideas, is the hardest work we'll ever do, but without forced growth, there's no change. And as Octavia Butler once wrote, not sure who that is, but she said it, God is change. Life is change, you guys. The only constant in life is change. If we can embrace that, you're truly going to expand in your life. But when we want to expand, but we're resisting expansion, then we start to feel frustrated because you've outgrown the box that you place yourself in. It's like you've got to break the lid off, burn the box, do whatever you need to do, like set yourself free. And that's really like the tower card. They're literally flung out of this tower. But it's like you've outgrown this tower. If you've been like Rapunzel at the top and you're like, let me let my hair down and like maybe I'll get a little, maybe there's something out there for me. If you've locked yourself in a mental prison or even a physical, like in a situation, whether it be a job or a home situation where you felt trapped, just know that like when we feel trapped, we've co-created that and you can uncreate it. You know what I mean? You can create something new, but that's a growth curve. That's a lesson that's going to require letting go and probably, you know, it's going to require some discomfort, but that's the choice you have to make. It's just like change over comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want? You can stay comfortable and suffer there, or you can maybe suffer a little bit, move through a difficult lesson, and then actually be happy on the other side of it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. It feels complete. It feels like that's it. I'll just cut the deck. Sweetest taboo. I keep pulling this. I keep pulling this card, you guys. It's upright. I love Sade, though. It says, stepping into a truly holistic form of self-love means glimpsing the bigger picture of your attractions and appetites and embracing it all. Don't let the full potential of your pleasure remain untapped. Identify your suppressed parts and make friends with them. Date them even. I think I pulled this in like 3 readings this week for people, and it's been coming up as well. This is the shadow work. This is like when you're in a situation and you're really irritated and frustrated with something. It's like that is a part of you that you haven't either integrated yet or acknowledged. You've been afraid of it. You've been suppressing it. It will show up out there in your partnership, with your boss, with your kids, with your friends, whatever. It's going to show up out there until you pull it out of the closet, look at it, acknowledge it. Then it stops silently running your life, you know? So I can help you with this. You know, here are some ways that I can support you. You can book a one-to-one reading, 90 minutes below. Link is below for that, an intuitive session. And I also give you a follow-up email, you know, with resources. And it's thorough, you guys. I'll give you a few meditations to use. I will give you guidance on next steps. I don't leave you hanging at a cliffhanger at the end of the session. So that's for 90-minute call. As I said, if you're a woman, my 12-month pathway, you know, feminine pathway, the Rose Temple is going to be starting. I'd like to start it in January after the holidays, along with the Magdalene Mysteries. So like if you've worked with me before and you're a little bit more advanced, you've got a practice, even if you're not super consistent with it, but you've got like a meditation practice, etc., or we've done, you know, former stuff together, then check that out, because the Magdalene Mysteries will be like the level 2. Or if you've already done Rose Temple before in a previous year, you can look into Magdalene Mysteries. It'll be more intimate and it will be intermediate. And Rose Temple is great if you've never worked with me before. It's one of the only ways to work with me at this point, because the work that we're doing isn't quick fix. There is no quick fix, you guys. You can have a fast transformation sometimes when you implement something, but ultimately the type of work I'm doing is spiritual growth, you know, and deep intimacy. And neither one of those things is going to happen like that. You're going to have to be devoted and just settle in to it unfolding slowly but surely over time. That's just how it is, you know. I don't ever bullshit people. And I enjoy the long term. You really see transformation in those spaces. So the waitlist for Rose Temple's coming. Magdalene Mysteries ones is already open, but I'll be combining the pages. And what else? That's it. Anything else I'm offering is below. And I'm sending you guys so much love. I will see you soon in the next one.